What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Rexx Ruger. Watching my back, as always, you know him, you love him, El Flaco Explosivo, a.k.a. the Alexis Arguello puppet. Look at him back there, man. Ain't he handsome, folks? That being said, man, and of course, I don't edit anything out, so if a guest hits me up on here, I'm looking at it, and I'm not editing it. And my guest is here right now, so let's just get down to it and chop it up. I'll shut up. Let him do the talking. Fine. There he is. What's up, man?
What's going on, my guy? How we doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Listen, how's everything with you, man?
Everything's good, man. Another day
coming off a victory.
I can't complain.
Coming off a victory is always good, right?
That's it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you are coming off a recent victory, right? Like let me look at my notes here. February 15th.
Yes.
Eighth round TKO.
Yep.
Got to get these guys out of here, right? Fuck those scorecards, man.
Don't leave it up to the judges. Can't leave it up to the judges, especially
when do it right.
Especially when you're going to fight the champion. You got to take that shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, because first of all, before I get into talking about your own career, man, you know, I certainly want to get some of your views on topical shit that's going on right now. Where did you stand on the Tank Lamont Roach fight?
Oh, man. Wow.
Obviously a very polarizing decision, man. New York State Athletic Commission has made its ruling. They're not going to do anything about the decision, but how did you see it?
Right, man. I mean, tough fight, man. Real close fight. And I'm a Tank fan, so man, it was hard to watch, to be honest, man, because it was so close that if I was to give the fight to anybody, it would be to Lamont Roach for sure. Yeah.
And where did you stand on Tank taking the knee? You know, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, man. A knockdown?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I wouldn't consider it a knockdown because he didn't go down because of a punch or anything. It didn't.
Right.
But definitely a big mistake, big rookie, kind of like a rookie mistake on his part for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. I would never do that.
And then even the corner coming up under the apron, man, not a good look, right?
Right. No, not at all. No, look crazy. Look suspect for sure.
You did look, yeah. And so I'm curious to ask you, man. You know, I was talking about this with some other guests, man. And it used to be like, you know, when you talked about a guy's prime, it always seemed like you were talking about a guy, you know, very youthful, man. You're 16-0, 9 knockouts, 32 years old, man. Do you feel like you're in your prime? Do you feel like you're right where you want to be at this point in your career?
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah. Prime. Yeah, definitely in my prime. I mean, like you said, I'm 32. I'm not getting any younger, but at the same time, I feel like I'm definitely getting better and better every time I go out there and just, you know, my performances not only in the ring during fight night, but in the gym. Like I'm just progressing, man. I feel every day I'm just progressing. I feel great for sure.
And I might have asked you this the last time, man, but you know, certainly, like, you know, your body better than anybody, man. Currently competing at featherweight, though. But do you see your body having like a ceiling? I.e., will you explore other weight classes?
I'm a ceiling like what? Like the lowest?
I mean, like, can your body go higher, and will you choose to go higher?
Well, if anything, I would go lower right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm earlier in my career, so if anything. I mean, you know, I would go. I'm 126. I just fought at 126 featherweight. I got the title at 135. I got the title at 130, and now I got a title at 126. So after I, you know, take over this 126 pound division, after I take over this division, maybe I'll go down to 122. We'll see.
Now, I'm curious to get your, assessment here, you know, because you did bring up the featherweight division, man. You know, just not to throw gas on the fire or anything like that or whatever, or to stir up any trouble. Of course, why would we want to do that on a boxing podcast, right? We don't want to make any confrontations or any waves here. But I must ask, though, man, about some of the guys currently holding belts in that division and your assessment on them as fighters. Your current featherweight WBO champ, Rafael Espinoza. Where do you stand on him?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Rafael Espinoza. He's the WBO featherweight champion. Yeah, your opinion, your assessment of him.
He's a tough fighter, man. Good fighter. He comes forward. He throws a lot of punches. He actually just fought my buddy Carlos. I think it was a draw.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough fighter, but I know when they give me that opportunity and that time comes, I'm gonna knock him out for sure.
How about IBF champ Angelo Leo?
Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier, man. I actually want that fight so bad, and I can't wait for that fight. I know it's gonna come. I'm gonna speak it into existence for sure.
And what do you think of him?
Much respect to Angelo Leo, though. The kid's a beast, man. Kid's a tank.
WBA belt currently held by Nick Ball.
Oh yeah, that's another one too, man. I'm coming. Yeah. That's me, man. That's my division. Let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I figured you'd have some interest in the W. And the last one, a guy who everyone seems to have opinions on, the WBC champ, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton.
Let's go. Oh yeah, I've been begging for that fight, man. I've been trying to pull that through with my coaches, my promoters. So, my manager, I'm trying to get that one, but they telling me to take it slow, Kev, take it slow, whatever. But I know I'm ready for that fight right now. So, let's see what happens.
Is it frustrating, like, when your team, like, says, like, take it slow, man? Like, do you say, when you're hearing your team say that, you know what I mean? But then a couple sentences ago, you're saying, I'm 32, not getting any younger, man. Does that often be, like, a point of contention between you and your team?
Right. Well, it's when I say my team, I not really my coaches and my managers. I mean, like, I kind of meant, like, my people, my people.
Yeah.
So those people don't really, I mean, they're not in my shoes, so but they,
right.
Some people everybody has their own look on things, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
But
sure.
me, like I said, I'm 32 years old. Who knows though? I could go till I'm 40 years old. We'll see. I hope I'm done by the time I'm 35, 36, 37. But who knows? I could be like Manny Pacquiao fighting till 40 something years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the best shape of my life. So, no injuries, no nothing. So I'm feeling good.
And now, if you did have a crystal ball, hypothetically, and you were looking ahead, like, to your post in-ring career, do you feel like boxing will always have a place in your life? I.e., will you get into promoting, training fighters yourself? Do you feel like you'll always have a foot in boxing?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as my career's over, I'll be opening up my own gym and taking care of the youth and all the kids in my city. The future for sure. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Are you going to be another Mickey from Rocky?
I don't know about that, but yeah, Kevin Walsh, man, King Kevin Walsh. I'm my own man for sure.
Are you going to tell the kids? Are you going to give the kids any of that fucking Mickey type advice, like women weaken legs?
Man, I don't know.
Just a myth. Is that just a myth?
I'm gonna tell them this.
Yeah. Be smart.
Be smart, but also remember, a lot of it's mental. A lot of it's mental. A lot of it's mental.
I just had this conversation, and it's interesting we were talking about the prime because, getting back to that point, when your body is young, you physically feel in your prime. But when you get older, you're putting it all together up here, though. That
Absolutely.
might make you more dangerous in a way because, a lot of the physical components of boxing, you can be taught, you can learn or whatever. But, like, getting hip to all the mental stuff, though, man, like, really makes you, I think, a more seasoned fighter. Would you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, your mentality. I'm a strong believer. I've always been, and when it comes to life, especially boxing, but life, especially boxing, your mentality is everything. It's everything. You got to believe in yourself and just know you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to.
If you could put on your fictional promoter's hat and you could pick your next 3 fights, man, who would they be, man? Like, would they be the belt holders? Would they be the guys I mentioned?
Yeah, Stephen Fulton, Angelo Leo,
Nick Ball.
Nick Ball. Yeah, Nick Ball.
Is there anybody at the featherweight division, though, man, who because you're a pretty bold guy, you speak your mind. Is there anybody at that featherweight division who you specifically have in your crosshairs? Is there anybody that irks you or that you particularly want to get your hands on?
Nah, nobody really irks me like that. I'm not a hater like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not like that. But I'm looking forward to the challenges. I know who's in my division. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I do my homework. I do my research. That's one thing about me. I'm
Yeah.
on this. I'm on. I live boxing. I eat, sleep, shit boxing. You know what I'm saying? So I know the guys that are close to me that I most likely will be fighting. I don't really like to say names, but the time's gonna come, and
Yeah.
King Kev's gonna take him out. That's for damn sure. I can't wait.
And have you discussed with your team about like a realistic timeline of like when you think we'll see you in there in a world title fight? Will it be 2025? Will it be more likely 2026?
It might be 2025.
Okay.
Yep, because I got four or five fights in me this year. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, within the next after the next two fights, I'm 1 to 2 fights, I'm there for
And
sure.
I feel like,
I'm
and I
like,
feel like being 52 years old, like I am, and watching boxing for so long, I was again having this conversation with somebody. I feel like you used to have like 20, 25 fights before you were even getting title shots. Now it seems like you can compete for belts. We just saw Keyshawn Davis win 13 fights into his career. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
it's not unrealistic being 16 fights into your career, to be talked about for title shots.
Exactly. Especially after going in and defending a WBC silver a few times. I think I'll earn my spot at a gold, world title.
And now the WBA, I don't know if you saw this or not, because you do keep up with so much stuff. The WBA a couple weeks ago was flirting with the idea of possibly returning to 15-round fights for championship fights, for unification bouts, for undisputeds to start out with on a trial basis. Do you like the idea of 15-round fights?
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured you would. Brockton guy, home of Marvelous Marvin.
Yeah, I love it, man. Bring it on. I love it.
And
Love it.
obviously there's been some great fights already, man. We just saw that great stacked card in Saudi Arabia. Are there any fights that you've seen this year that stand out to you, or fights that you're looking forward to from a fan standpoint?
Let me see.
I mean, Turkey Al Sheikh, man, gave us a pretty damn good card there back in February, man. He
Yeah,
stacked.
man. I mean, they're just doing great, man. Hats off to those guys, man. They're doing big things right now for boxing, and I'm looking forward to the future, man. For real, those guys are putting on, man, putting up great fights, and I'm looking to get into the mix, man, for sure. I'm trying to get my hands on that money too. You
Some
know
of
what I'm
that Saudi
saying?
money, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what
And
about I probably asked you this the last time that you were on with me and my son or whatever, man. But where do you stand on these Jake Paul type events? I know they bring eyes to the sport, man. Are you a fan? Are these things that you'll tune into and watch?
I mean, I can't say that I'm a fan, but I can't say that I won't watch. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
right, like a car wreck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll definitely watch. Like I said, I'm not a hater, man. Hats off to Jake Paul and everything he's doing for the community where he's at, for the kids. I know he's doing a lot of things for the world and for the community. So, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Giving positive vibes out to the world and things like that. So, and he's doing this thing. He's been boxing and he's been a pro for a couple years now, training with the best, training with a lot of good guys, top athletes. So hats off to him, man. You know what I'm saying? But when he does get in the ring against a real boxer, we all know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Sure.
So with that being said, man, he's had a couple of guys who, he's dug up from from the lowest depths of BoxRec. It seems like he's had a couple of real boxers on there, if you want to call him that or whatever. But is it still hard with as much as he's grinding and hustling and portraying himself to be a regular boxer, though? You as an actual boxer, are you able to look at him and say there's a boxer, or has he not done enough yet to earn that type of credit?
I could say he's a boxer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I give
Even
it
with
to
the
him.
names, even with the names he has on his resume so far. Although he has beefed them up the last couple of years, but you can say those people were either retired for a while or a little long in the tooth. I mean, beating Anderson Silva's and Mike Tyson's of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just the way he goes in there and conducts himself as a professional fighter, man. Yeah, I give him respect, and I give him the label of being a professional boxer for sure. A
Now,
lot
I've
of
had a lot
people.
of guys. I've had a lot of guys in here who I've posed the question to. About like jumping up multiple weight divisions. Apparently, at the end of this year, we're going to see Bud Crawford try to make that monumental leap up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Man, is this a smart move? And does he have a chance in this fight? I've asked many boxers, and they all seem to say Bud is special. If there's somebody out there that could do it, he would be the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wicked smart move, especially right now at this
Yeah,
time. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's on his way out the door,
yeah,
and Crawford's still in his prime,
yeah,
clearly.
yeah.
Getting better, getting bigger, getting stronger. So why not take the chance to not only, make history, but make the biggest bag he'll probably ever make in his life. You know what I'm saying? Going, at least yet.
Now, a lot of the physical tools, that boxers have, learning a jab, learning footwork, a lot of that stuff can be taught. It can be taught by good trainers. It can be taught in the gym. But I feel like the mental aspect of boxing is what impresses me the most because I think it's most people's tendency to want to avoid a confrontation. We get a little bit of fear. We get anxiety. Most people want to do anything they can to avoid a fight. When did you know that you had, the mental fortitude, to get into the ring? Because it's not just everybody can't just
Yeah, I
climb between
knew
those ropes.
I knew I had it before I started boxing. You know what I'm saying? Before I started boxing, growing up in the streets of Brockton,
Yeah,
I went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? When I was a
yeah,
kid, I was a little badass little gangster, and I went through a lot of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I faced a lot of demons, and I faced a lot of, maybe those guys weren't the toughest guys, clearly, because they were just shooting, shooting guns, and they were in the
right.
streets. But to me, at that time, I was probably scared, but I knew I had to, I knew I had to stand my ground and do what I had to do to survive at that point in time in my life. And just being there, being in the streets, I knew that was gonna take me, take me to special places when it comes to confrontations and fighting guys, because I did it in the streets before I was doing it in the ring, and I was never
Right.
scared, never feared no man, and I was always ready for war in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I knew it was gonna take me, take me there in the ring for sure.
So that serves you well in the boxing career.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
a lot of these kids, a lot of these guys in the boxing world, some of them have been through the street stuff, and some of them have been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they really haven't, and they could try to act like they're all tough and big and bad, and they could try to put on a persona, but at the end of the day, you know, I, the truth is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's there. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all that. I've been through all that stuff. So I fear no man. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for the biggest challenges in my life. And that definitely separates me from a lot of fighters, man. Absolutely. Like you said, your mental aspect is everything. And I'm a strong believer in that for sure.
And when you were growing up, man, how we all have our sports heroes growing up. Were there guys that were boxers, man, that you looked at, wanted to emulate, idolize? We have those sports heroes when we're growing up as kids, man. Did you have those guys in the boxing ring?
Well, I didn't start boxing until I was 23 years old. So, I mean, before I started boxing, the only guys I really heard of was Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, and
Right,
of
right.
course, I always looked up to Mike Tyson, even when I didn't box, just because my father was always into boxing and fighting, and
Yeah,
my father, even though I wasn't boxing, I was always in the streets fighting, and I still
right.
thought I was the biggest tough guy in the world, before I started boxing. But then when went up to the boxing gym, I realized I wasn't the toughest guy, and I had to put in some fucking work. You know what I'm saying?
And were you aware of the history of Brockton with Marvelous Marvin Hagler growing up? Like, you
Absolutely,
have to be, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, big time, big time. I didn't really get into it like that until I started boxing. I was caught up in the street life and things like that before then. But once I started boxing at 23, that's when I instantly became addicted to boxing, and everything was boxing, from going out running to hitting the gym to being on YouTube to sitting here on a podcast with you.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people would say that 23 is a late start, though. You know what I mean? But do you feel like, though, because then you do get a lot of guys who hit 23 years old and they've had hundreds and hundreds of amateur fights, and they
Yeah.
might be a little shop worn, and maybe they've been through some wars. Do you feel like, because I guess there's two sides of that coin to look at. Like, you could look at a guy with a great amateur pedigree, but then you can say, wow, he's been touched a lot, though, in a very short time, though, too. Do you feel like it served you more, coming to the game later?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it served me more of a purpose because I'm like, I don't want to say I'm new to it, but yeah, I mean I'm not worn up. I'm not worn and torn. I'm fresh. My body's still
Yeah.
fresh.
In a lot
Yeah,
of ways, the streets was probably the amateur background. You
absolutely,
know,
absolutely,
one way to
100%.
look at it.
Got my mental strength ready for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
important parts of boxing for sure.
Now, obviously, like you're on here, you don't pull any punches, man. You speak from the heart and certainly speak your mind. But, in the build up to a fight, like we always see a lot of these guys, taking to Twitter, they're bantering, they're beefing, we certainly see stuff jump off at weigh-ins, at press conferences. You're a pretty boisterous guy, man. But, in the lead up to a fight, man, are you somebody that likes that mental aspect of the game where trash talking comes involved, or do you usually take your cues from how your opponent's acting?
Um, yeah, exactly. I go off of my opponent, to be honest, man. I usually just go off of my opponent, but at the end of the day, that trash talking always fuels me up.
Yeah.
It always helps me out at the end of the day. So, we could be humble. That I'm a humble guy, but I always like to give the fans what they want to see as well. So I still try to, throw some humble words in there, to give the fans what they want to see.
Is there pressure now though? Because like we do still see some bad scorecards, man. Like you're 16-0 at 9 knockouts, man. So a little more than half your fights, man, have resulted in knockouts, man. I suppose it's probably a slippery slope and a dangerous strategy to go in there and actively look for a knockout. Certainly that could probably work against you or whatever. But do you feel any kind of pressure, man? Like when you know that the fight is going to go to the cards, man, you know what I mean? Is there apprehension, man? But, because we do still see some pretty shitty cards turned in sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But at the same time, it's still early in my career. It's early enough where, I listen to my coaches and they tell me, not to go out there and look for the knockout ever. When every time I go out there and look for the knockout, it doesn't come. So
Yeah.
stay patient. Yeah, stay patient, and the knockout will come. It always comes when I stay patient, stay relaxed. It always comes.
Now, like with that background, man, and you're talking about like, kind of making your bones like on the street or ever, man. Once you come to boxing at age 23, man, like what do you feel like that, that have been the biggest life lessons boxing has taught you?
Oh, definitely just discipline.
Yeah.
It taught me discipline. Discipline is definitely the most important aspect of my life, anyways. Because without discipline, you really have nothing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that discipline. Because if you don't have that discipline, you ain't gonna be feeling good, man. You ain't gonna be feeling good.
Now, what does the rest of 2020? What does the rest of 2025 look like for you as far as you talked about like your next fight coming up. Do you have any set opponents? Is there anything set in stone now that you definitively know?
Nah, nothing set in stone yet, but it's looking like May 10th at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut.
Okay, and the opponent is still to be determined.
Yeah, yes. Opponent still to be. Yeah, nothing yet.
Now, is that frustrating as a fighter, man? Like being like, pretty much like 2 months away from that fight day and not knowing, or at this stage in your career, does it not really matter who's on the other side of that ring? You just trust your team to do the research.
Well, we have a couple guys in mind that I really can't speak of
That's
right
all
now.
right.
So I know the guys that I'm looking at that I'm most likely gonna fight. I'm just waiting for them to sign the contract. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to fight whoever. So I feel like I'm definitely on the top of my game. Anyone from around here, from around anywhere in the world right now. So bring it on. It really doesn't matter. Like you said, it's like I'm a couple months out, but nah, man, my mental strength is just, I'm ready for war no matter who it is, man. I go in there like I'm going to fight Mike Tyson in his prime every time. So I'm just going to go in there and do me.
Obviously, man, you got aspirations for a world title, man. But obviously, there's also a lot of guys in the in the featherweight division who are in your shoes, comparable records. You know what I mean? Like also guys who are vying, for those belts too. Is it just as much of a thrill, if you're matched up like with a guy and you kind of fucking like, you throw him an L and kind of change his course and derail him a little bit. Is that satisfying?
Nah, it's not satisfying. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish that. I don't wish that. I don't wish death upon anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not a hater, but anyone in front of me is going down no matter what. So it's bound to happen. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't matter if it's a prospect or a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the same. It's pretty much the same mentality.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I got that. When I hit that, once I hit that switch, when I'm in camp,
Yeah.
that switch is hit, and it's go mode. It's kill mode. It's wartime. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter who's in front of me. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter. They're just another body. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna hit the canvas. I'll
tell you what, man. All this conversation has got me pumped up. I think I'm gonna go out looking for a fight tonight.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm pumped up now, man. Whenever I talk to you, I'm pumped up, man. It's coursing through my veins now, man. I'm gonna come down to Brockton and pick you up. Let's go start some trouble.
Take a ride, man. You already know.
Take a ride. You know what? I don't think I can make it, man. I'd probably fall asleep in the car.
Yeah, long ride. Where are you at?
I'm in upstate New York.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not that far. I'm not really that far. Yeah.
Few hours.
But hey, listen, man. As soon as you do get details on the fight, man, send them to me. I'll share them on the Facebook page, man. I'm always excited to watch what you do, man. You're one of my favorite interviews, man. I love when you get on here, man, and chop it up with me, man. And for sure, stay in touch, man. You're my man. We'll do it again, man, for sure.
Yeah, thank you, my man. I appreciate you, man. Let's go to the top.
Yeah, always big support from our end, man. Really appreciate you, man.
You guys. I know that. Thank you so much, for real.
Yeah, appreciate you, dude. We'll talk soon, my friend.
Yes, sir. We'll talk later.
All right, later, my man.
And
there he goes, folks. King Kevin Welsh. Excuse me. Walsh. See, I'm looking at my Welsh flag over there, man. See, that's called a faux pas right there. That's my man, King Kevin Walsh, Brockton's own favorite son, man, home of Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And right before I clicked him out of the Google Meet room, he was about to say, because I heard it, and the new. And I do believe he will be hearing those words very soon, man. That's my man, King Kevin Walsh, Brockton, Massachusetts, 16-0, 9 knockouts, man. Climbing those featherweight ranks, man. Ready to chop down all those guys, man. I could see his eyes light up when I mentioned him, man. The Rafael Espinosas, the Angelo Leos, the Nick Balls, the Cool Boy Stephs. He's ready to knock him down like a bowling ball, knocking down pins. I can see it in his eyes, man. He walks the walk, he talks the talk, man, and I got no doubt, man, we're going to be seeing some world championship gold around the waist of King Kevin Walsh very soon, man. At least I hope so, man, because he's one of my favorite guys to chop it up with, man. He's always on my radar, man. Exciting guy to watch in the ring because, as he said, he's coming and he's making it a war every single time. The mindset is there, man. Going to do big things, man. It's only a matter of time. I see it happening here, 2025, for sure. Early 2026, man. They can't keep denying King Kevin, man. He's going to get his just due here very soon, man. That I have no doubt. Hope you guys dug that episode. Big ups and big thank you to King Kevin Walsh, man. Like I said before he got in here, make sure to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook, and make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay tapped in, man. You know what you're tapped into right here. The undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. The conversations don't get no more real than right here on Off the Couch Boxing. This is where legends, luminaries, champions, and fighters on the come up, they all come here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rexx. We just had another good one in the books right there, man. Again, thank you to King Kevin Walsh, man. And remember, folks, you too can be a champion, just like us over here at Off the Couch Boxing. You want to know what the secret is? If you want to be a champion, you got to stay tapped in to Off the Couch Boxing and always continue to roll with the champs. Peace.